Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today I have a spine-chilling tale to share with you, one that marks a unique departure from our previous stories. For the first time, we will be delving into a dark narrative from the perspective of a third-person narrator, providing a different vantage point to immerse ourselves in the chilling events about to unfold. Before we begin, I have a question for all of you. As avid enthusiasts of macabre tales, do you prefer stories told from the first-person perspective, where you become intimately connected with the protagonist's thoughts and emotions? Or do you find the detached lens of the third-person narrative more intriguing, offering a broader view of the chilling events that transpire? Your preference will help shape our future stories, so please share your thoughts in the comments below. Detective Joe stood at the edge of the river, his gaze fixated on the dark, swirling waters. The moonlight cast an eerie glow on the surface, intensifying the haunting atmosphere that surrounded him. The town had been gripped by fear and despair ever since the emergence of the notorious Dollmaker. 4 young women had vanished without a trace, only to be found days later, their lifeless bodies abandoned near the riverbank. The Dollmaker had a macabre signature, dressing and painting his victims to resemble life-sized dolls. It was a twisted art form that sent chills down the spines of everyone who learned of his atrocities. Joe's determination burned within him like a flickering flame. He couldn't bear to see the anguish in the eyes of the victims' families, and he refused to let this malevolent puppeteer continue his reign of terror. The young detective had spent countless sleepless nights poring over the evidence, trying to decipher the hidden clues left behind by the deranged killer. The Dollmaker's presence loomed over the town like a shadow, suffocating its inhabitants with fear. People became prisoners in their own homes, their once vibrant streets now deserted after sunset. Joe knew that he had to act swiftly to restore a sense of security to the community. As Joe delved deeper into the investigation, he discovered a pattern among the victims. Each one had a connection to the local theater, known for its beautiful antique dolls displayed in glass cases. Could the Dollmaker be lurking in plain sight, hidden within the intricacies of the theater's dark secrets? Armed with this newfound lead, Joe immersed himself in the world of the theater, attending performances and studying the backstage areas. He soon uncovered whispers of a mysterious figure, a talented but reclusive dollmaker who had worked for the theater many years ago. Rumors circulated that he had suffered a mental breakdown, vanishing from the spotlight. One stormy night, Joe found himself alone in the theater's dimly lit storage room. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and forgotten dreams. As he ran his fingers along the dusty shelves, his eyes fell upon a peculiar doll, hidden beneath a tattered cloth. It bore an uncanny resemblance to one of the victims. Driven by a mix of trepidation and curiosity, Joe removed the cloth, revealing the doll's lifeless eyes that seemed to stare right through him. His heart raced as he realized that he had stumbled upon a chilling connection, a connection that could lead him straight to the Dollmaker. Whispers echoed through the darkness as Joe's investigation gained momentum. The Dollmaker's name, Vincent Voss, emerged as a potential suspect. Once celebrated for his craftsmanship, Vincent had disappeared from the public eye, only to reappear as the sinister force behind these grotesque crimes. Determined to confront Vincent, Joe followed a trail of clues that led him to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The decaying structure stood like a ghostly sentinel, its walls covered in ivy and secrets. The detective's footsteps echoed through the empty corridors as he cautiously entered the lair of the Dollmaker. The mansion's interior resembled a macabre art studio. Piles of dismembered mannequins and half-finished dolls littered the floor, their limbs twisted at unnatural angles. Paint splattered across the walls, creating a sinister tableau of vibrant colors mingling with dark intentions. And at the center of it all stood Vincent, a gaunt figure with sunken eyes that held a glimmer of madness. "You've come to play, detective," Vincent sneered, his voice a haunting whisper. "But the game is already won. They are my masterpieces, my dolls." Joe's heart pounded in his chest as he confronted the embodiment of evil standing before him. The Dollmaker's twisted pleasure in his grotesque art was evident, his deluded mind believing he had created a twisted form of immortality. But Joe knew that he couldn't let Vincent's depravity go unpunished. A fierce battle ensued, with Joe desperately fighting to subdue the Dollmaker. The room became a battlefield of shattered porcelain and splattered paint. Adrenaline surged through Joe's veins as he grappled with the madman, every fiber of his being yearning to bring justice to the victims and put an end to the Dollmaker's reign of terror. With a final surge of strength, Joe managed to overpower Vincent, his handcuffs securing the Dollmaker's twisted hands. Vincent's laughter filled the room, an unhinged sound that sent shivers down Joe's spine. "You may have caught me, detective," Vincent taunted, his voice tinged with defiance. "But my legacy will live on. There are others who will continue my work, creating a never-ending nightmare." But Joe wasn't swayed by Vincent's words. He knew that his relentless pursuit of justice had dismantled the Dollmaker's dark empire, unraveling the threads of fear that had strangled the town. Though scars remained, the community could finally begin to heal, no longer haunted by the specter of the Dollmaker. As the sun rose over the horizon, casting its warm light upon the town, Joe stood at the riverbank where it all began. He released a sigh of relief, knowing that his tireless efforts had brought closure to the victims' families. The town would forever remember the horror unleashed by the Dollmaker, but that they would also remember the unwavering determination of Detective Joe, who had triumphed over darkness and restored hope to their shattered world. Years passed and the town gradually healed from the trauma inflicted by the Dollmaker. Detective Joe continued his work, solving other cases and striving to make his community safer. The memory of the Dollmaker's reign of terror still lingered in the back of his mind, but he hoped that those dark days were finally behind them. However, just when the wounds of the past seemed to be fading, a chilling reminder arrived unexpectedly. Detective Joe sat at his desk, sifting through files when his computer screen flickered to life. An email notification flashed on the monitor, drawing his attention. His heart skipped a beat as he read the subject line: Dollmaker returns. With a mix of dread and confusion, Joe opened the email. Its contents sent a chill down his spine. The message was short but loaded with malevolence. "The time for my return draws near. Prepare for a new wave of crimes. Dollmaker." Detective Joe's mind raced, struggling to make sense of the email. He knew that the original Dollmaker was imprisoned, serving multiple life sentences for his heinous crimes. Could this be the work of a copycat? An imitator seeking to carry on the legacy of terror left behind? A sense of foreboding settled over Joe as he considered the possibilities. The thought of another twisted individual taking up the mantle of the Dollmaker sent shivers down his spine. It meant that the nightmare wasn't truly over, that a new chapter of horror was about to unfold. Determined to protect his community once again, Joe knew that he had to delve deeper into the mystery. He would have to retrace the steps of the original Dollmaker's investigation, searching for any overlooked clues or connections that could shed light on this unsettling development. With each passing moment, the urgency grew, for the imitator had declared their intent to strike again. As the email's echo lingered in the silent room, Detective Joe steeled himself for the battle ahead. The hunt for the Dollmaker's imitator would test his skills, his resilience, and his resolve. The memory of the victims and their families fueled his determination, and he vowed that this time the copycat would not escape justice. The town braced itself, torn between relief that the original Dollmaker was behind bars and a renewed sense of dread that a new threat had emerged. Detective Joe prepared to face this imitator, knowing that the path ahead would be treacherous. The Dollmaker's legacy had ignited a darkness that refused to be extinguished. Are you prepared to embark on a haunting journey delving into the depths of nightmare memoirs? Will you dare to uncover the chilling secrets that lurk in the shadows? Join us and become a fearless seeker of all things spooky. Subscribe and like if you dare to traverse the shadowy depths with us.